Aileen Wuornos remains one of the most prolific female serial killers in all of American history. And this is the story from when I was an investigative journalist and I got the assignment to investigate her case.
Aileen Wuornos, 33 years old, a drifter, a sex worker, a woman with a history of violence, and a gift for deception.
This is a work of fiction.
7 bodies, 7 families torn apart, 7 reasons to give her the death penalty.
That's the story everybody knew. The monster, the killer, the woman who preyed on men and left them dead on the side of the road. But that wasn't the whole story. And the parts they left out are the parts that keep me awake at night. We met for coffee first. Her choice. Public. Safe. I understood the choice. A woman who guards something precious. Learns to pick her ground. Somewhere with witnesses. Somewhere she could stand up and walk away. She was already sitting when I arrived.
I've answered questions for other publications already. The same questions over and over. I have the answers ready. I can give you those, and then you can write whatever it is you came here to write. Beyond that, I don't know what you expect me to give you.
There was a tiredness in her voice, the tiredness of someone who had handed pieces of a person she loved to people with the recorders and watched every one of them turn those pieces into something ugly. So, I didn't reach for my notebook. I didn't ask my first question. I learned that pushing only closes people. I've learnt not to pry a door open, but to wait for them to unlock it themselves. So, I let the silence sit and let her be the first to break it.
You're not writing anything down? The others had their notebooks out before they sat down. Pen, recorder, little checklist of questions.
I told her I was in no hurry, and she looked at me for a long moment, long enough that I felt it. And then she asked the question that changed everything.
Why did they send you? You don't seem like the others. What's your story, Tim?
And there it was, the opening. Not because I forced it, because she reached for it. I could have deflected. I've deflected that question my whole life. A charming half answer, a change of subject. And the moment passes, but something in the way she was holding that cup, knuckles pale like it was the only thing keeping her in that chair, made me want to give her something true. So I told her about my father. Not everything. God, not everything. Just a door held open, a crack, a story or two about a childhood in a house where love and violence wore the same face. What a boy learns to become when the person who's meant to keep him safe is the thing he's most afraid of. I've never said any of it out loud until then. And as I heard my voice telling her such things, I felt something in my chest I didn't have a name for. A kind of vertigo. The terror of becoming seen. And she didn't look away. In fact, she leaned in closer.
Oh, Tim.
Her eyes filled, and she reached across the table and put her hand over mine. Just resting it there the way you'd touch something wounded. And for a moment, neither of us said anything at all. I understood sitting there that she recognized me. She'd spent years reading the letters of a woman the whole world called a monster, and she learned to see past the word, to see the frightened person underneath it. And now she looked at me the same way. That should have frightened me more than it did.
I don't take people to her. Not journalists, not the ones who write books, not the film people with their money. They just want to cash in on this media frenzy. But you're not looking for that quick buck, are you? I can tell.
I told her the truth. I said no, I wasn't. She was quiet for a long time after that, fumbling with the cup in her hand, thinking, deciding something.
I can't do this here, not with all these people. What I have to show you, it isn't for a place like this. Come to my house tomorrow. There's something I want to show you. I've never shown a single soul who came asking, and I think you might be the one person who wouldn't turn it all into a hurtful headline.
I told her that I would come, and I walked out into the daylight with the strangest feeling settling over me. Not the satisfaction of a journalist who'd earned his access, no. Something closer to dread. Because I hadn't performed for her. I hadn't worn the mask for the first time in a very long time. I'd shown a stranger a sliver of the real me. And she hadn't recoiled. She opened a door. I should have asked myself even then what it means when the only person who truly sees you is someone who has spent years learning to love a killer. Her house was small, lived in, the kind of place where a person keeps their whole life on the shelves. She made coffee, bitter, black. The smell of it filled the room. While she disappeared down the hallway and came back carrying a box. She sat it down on the table between us like it was made of glass.
I don't take these out of the house, ever. They stay here where they're safe. These are her letters, everything she ever told me. You're the only person I'm going to show this to, Tim. I need you to understand what that means.
Years of correspondence, from a prison cell to this living room. Her own handwriting, her own voice, unfiltered by lawyers, by courts, by the machine that had already decided what she was. And as Jasmine read them to me one by one, I heard something other than a monster. I heard a person trying to explain how the world makes a monster out of the child who never had a choice.
Her grandfather raised her, and he mistreated her from the time she was very young. It wasn't just violence, Tim. It was deliberate, systematic. He taught her that she had no control over her own life, that she existed to be controlled and exploited.
It was hard to hear. My own father's cruelty was a storm, senseless. A man's rage turned loose on whatever stood close. But this was designed, built, engineered to break a child in a particular shape.
And it wasn't only him. When she was older, there were others. Boys she thought were her friends. They hurt her, together, all of them. She was a child, and there was no one. No one came for her. No one ever came, Tim.
I closed my eyes when Jasmine read that page, because I carry a rage from my upbringing too, but I never suffered like this. She had nothing, no one. The people meant to protect her were the ones who fed her to the dark.
At 14, she suffered another horrific ordeal. An older man, a friend of the family, was responsible. She became pregnant. The baby was taken from her and given away. And then her grandfather cast her out of the house, as if she were the one who had done something wrong.
14. A child. Carrying a child, then losing it. Losing her home. Losing the last thread that said the world had any place for her at all. She went to live in the woods after this, alone. And when survival meant selling what was left of her to men who'd looked at her like she was already dead, that's what she did. Because what else was there?
400 men, Tim. That's what she told me. Over the years. 400, maybe more. And in all that time, with all those men, she never killed a single one. Until she did.
That number stayed with me. 400. Not because it excuses anything, but because it asked a question the headlines never bothered to. Why not more? If she was the cold predator they painted, the thing that hunted men for sport, then why the restraint? What was the difference between the men she let live and the 7 she put in the ground? I went looking for the answer in the courtroom, but what I found there complicated everything, because her story would not hold still. In the beginning, she said all 7 were self-defense, every single one. Men who raped her or tried to, and paid for it. But then, in the years that followed, she took it back, piece by piece, except for the first one. The first man, the first victim. She swore to the end. He violently raped her.
She stood up in front of the court and she took it all back. Every word of it. She looked at them and she said she'd killed those men and robbed them cold as ice. She told them she hated human life. She said the words out loud, Tim. She said that she was a serial killer and she would kill again.
She pleaded guilty. She told the court she wanted to get right with God.
And there's a part I've never told anyone. Years later, she admitted to a filmmaker, when she thought the cameras were off, that taking back those rape claims was a lie. She said she only did it so they'd sentence her to death. Because by then, she just wanted it to be over. She just wanted to die, Tim.
Now, let's just sit with that for a moment. A shifting story is all the jury needs to decide a person is a monster. But I've never believed a shifting story is the same thing as a lie. Sometimes it changes because the person telling it gave up on being believed a long time ago. I got access to one of her final court appearances. I sat in the back and watched her. For long stretches she was composed, almost detached, and I recognized that composure because I've worn it my whole life. That careful distance between who you are and who the world sees. And then it would break. She called them scumbags. She told them flatly that she was a serial killer. that she would kill again, that she had hate crawling through her system. She fired the lawyers who were fighting to keep her alive, and she begged to be put to death. The room heard a mad woman, or a monster confessing at last, but I heard something else. I heard a woman who was done with being judged by others, her grandfather, strangers, boys who called themselves friends, the jury, who never lived 1 hour of what she'd survived. She wasn't confessing to them. She was done with them. She was wanting a different judge. That's the thing the headlines missed. Every cold word she threw at the courtroom wasn't a killer gloating. It was a woman kicking away the last rung of the earthly ladder, saying whatever it took to be sent faster to the only courtroom she still believed in. She had decided, somewhere in all those years, that no man could judge her, that only God could, and she wanted to go and stand in front of him and finally be seen by the only one that mattered. And here is where I have to be honest with you about what I chose to believe. I know she took the other stories back. I know she admitted in the dark that some of it was a lie told to hasten her own death. And still, I believe her about the first man, because the first man was the one thing the court had proof of and chose to hide. Long before she had ever met him, he had a record, a violent sexual assault. He'd broken into a woman's home and tried to take her by force and spent years locked away for it. Her lawyer tried to put that in front of the jury, but the judge would not allow it. I chose to believe her about that man. Maybe because the evidence is there. Or maybe a man like me needs there to be one killing in this story that was just one that God might look at and forgive. I watched her sit in that courtroom, and I didn't see a monster. I saw a mirror. But understand this, I don't act out because I want to. I've never once wanted to. There's a difference between a man who hungers and a man who simply answers. I only answered to the ones who I felt deserve it. The ones who'd done worse and walked. I told myself that mattered, because there's a judgment coming for us all, a reckoning. And when I'm stood in front of whatever's waiting, I pray I'm on the right side of my father. I went back to see Jasmine one more time. When the appeal had run dry and there was nothing left to investigate, I told her I was returning for one last interview to finish off my notes for the magazine. That was a lie. I don't know what I went back for. The only room where I'd been seen and not run from, perhaps. She made coffee again, bitter, black. We sat with that box of letters between us, and she looked at me the way she did the very first time.
You're not here just for the case anymore, are you, Tim?
I wasn't. And I finally understood the thing that had been circling me since the first time we'd met. She hadn't spent all those years learning to love a monster because she was naive, or foolish, or blind. She had taught herself to look at the very worst thing a human being could be and stay in the room. So when she looked at me and did not flinch, it was not because she couldn't see it. It was because she could. And she stayed anyway. And I, even until now, have never been able to decide what that was. Was it mercy? Proof that a man could be known all the way down to the rot and still not be left alone in the dark? Or whether I had simply found the one soul on this earth too practiced at loving a killer to not be frightened of one more.
She truly believed in God, you know. Right to the end. She seemed almost at peace with it, like she knew he was waiting for her. She did sometimes question whether she'll be let into heaven, though. I pray God had mercy on her.
And there it was, the question that followed me my whole life, sitting now in someone else's story. Would God forgive her? Would God forgive me? There's a line in the Psalms I've held on to since I was young. Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. I've leaned on that verse in my darkest hours, told myself God himself prepared us to fight, that a person has the right to defend themselves against the wicked of the world, that when evil comes for you, you are allowed to raise your hand against it. If that was true, then what was she doing but defending herself? She'd been hunted her whole life. Why should she lay down and let it happen one more time? But the 10 Commandments says, "Thou shalt not kill." It doesn't say except in self-defense. It doesn't say except when the world has already taken everything. It just says no. So, which God is real? The one who trains our hands for war? Or the one who says, turn the other cheek, lay down your weapon and let them strike you again? That's the question that truly torments me. I've done evil. I've done evil things. Born from the rage planted in me before I was old enough to refuse it. Inherited like a curse through a bloodline I never chose. Things I regret, things that keep me awake at night. But I fight it every single day. I chose to be better than what I am. I chose mercy over the violence. I wear the mask. I speak the right words. I move through the world as a good man. And still, I'm terrified. Because what if trying isn't enough? What if the evil in my blood has already damned me past saving? What if God looks at a man like me and sees only the monster, and never the lifetime spent fighting to be something better? On October the 9th, 2002, Aileen was asked what she wanted for her last meal. She chose black coffee. The same bitter black I'd smelled in Jasmine's living room when I was peering into the mind of Aileen Wuornos. The coffee was drunk. The cup sat empty somewhere in a cell down the hall. Her wrists strapped, fastened, her chest, the head. The buckles were loud in a room that was quiet. She did not cry. She did not beg, and a voice asked if she had any final words. Aileen Wuornos looked up, smiled, and said, "I'm sailing with the rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus." She closed her eyes and went to meet the only judge she ever trusted. She walked to her end believing she'd be forgiven, believing that despite all of it, God would see her heart and let her come home. I hope to God she was right. Because if there's no mercy for a woman who was broken before she could speak, beaten before she could run, and raped before she understood what the word even meant, then I don't know what mercy is even for. And if there's no heaven for someone like her, then there's no heaven for someone like me. Soon enough, I'll stand at the gates, just like she did, and I'll ask the same question she asked. Am I forgiven? I won't tell you what to think. I never do. I'll only ask you this. Do you believe God would open the gates of heaven for Aileen Wuornos? And the harder question, the one I really need answered, does the long life struggle to be good, even when you carry evil in your blood, even when you've done things you can never take back? Does that redeem you? Because I've spent my entire life trying to answer that, and I'm running out of time.